Blake Walston is joining us right now. Good timing.
Yes,
Blake,
sir.
how's it going, man?
Good.
How's spring? It doesn't feel like spring right now, does it?
Nah, not really. It's kind of chilly, actually. But yeah, we just got done eating some lobster rolls. So.
Okay, wait a minute now. Did you say lobster rolls?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Man, all right, that's a game changer.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
How much, Blake, do they actually control your diet and what they're going to serve you here?
I mean, I feel like they kind of, give a bunch of different options to different guys. It's more based on what your body needs, right? So whatever you feel like you need, they give you like a blood test and stuff. I went up and took my own blood test, and it says this and this. You need to eat more this and this. So they have all those options for you down there, and you just kind of have to take it upon yourself.
Okay, so they're going to serve whatever, and the food here, I would imagine, is really, really good. But it's up to you to pick what you need and what you don't need.
Absolutely.
Does anyone get on you for that? I mean, do you got guys? Will Tori look at you like, "Hey, Blake, what are you doing?"
Nah, not really. They tell me to eat more. So.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
So why,
it's a good thing.
Why do they want you to put on weight?
Man, I just kind of fluctuate a little bit in between 190 and 205 pounds.
Okay.
So I'd say like 4 years ago I was 210, right at 212. I was throwing a little harder at that point, but that was a long time ago. So we're going to try to get back up to there. 212 somewhere I'd probably like to be. So they said cram as much food as you can.
They just
typically it's
came
the
up to
other
you
way.
with lobster rolls.
Typically they're saying, "Hey man, you got to cut back."
Absolutely. And there's some guys that are down there that are looking for they're cutting it. They're trying to make their portion smaller. I mean, it's all based off of who the guy is. So
that's great. There's guys down there being like, "Okay, I got to watch what I eat," and Blake sits down with a big tray of lobster rolls.
I love lobster rolls too.
Blake, you got out there, it was 7 appearances, I think, last year for you at the major league level now. So just kind of what was it like to really get that feel for pitching in actual meaningful games? And then how does that help you prepare for this year?
Yeah, man, it was awesome. My debut was really cool, just getting out there, and first thing you're facing is the Dodgers 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that was wild, but you kind of come to reality after a little bit, and then all the excitement of it kind of settles down a little bit, and then it more becomes like, all right, this is my job. This is what I got to do. I think there was a lot of things that I learned about like taking care of your body and taking care of like a lot of things to make you be that successful guy on the mound every single day. Being in the minor leagues, you can kind of get away with some of that stuff a little bit. Like, it's not as much pressure or adrenaline that's, going to make you more sore the day after. So there's a lot of things that I had to learn and, like, get my body to feel all that soreness to know that, okay, I need to, really enhance my recovery. And that's something I took very seriously in the offseason and building for this season. And
I would imagine, Blake, last season gave you a bit of confidence.
For sure.
Just to crack that, right? A bit of confidence coming into this season right now. What's that going to do for you, do you feel?
Man, I'm just trying to build on it, I guess. Yesterday it was a little beat up, but the main thing I'm trying to do is feel good right now and feel good coming out of spring and knowing where my pitches are and knowing how my movement is on my off-speed pitches. I feel like the confidence part will come as you get more and more into innings and you're feeling that, like, all right, I got that, my stuff's here and I can command it as well as possible. During spring, you're kind of just still figuring that out and getting the grip of everything. And, I feel really confident with that because it's progressing well with me. So, but yeah.
We're joined by Blake Walston right now. Blake, you guys have an interesting mix on this team in terms of pitchers because you got some really established vets like Corbin Burns and Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly, but then you also have a lot of young, talented pitchers like yourself. What is that mix, like how does that work behind the scenes? Do you guys lean on the guys that have been in this league for a while?
Absolutely. I think it's a great mix, honestly. You got some really good vets, and most of these guys just outstanding careers, like Burns, and I'm very open with Merrill about some things, and he's helped me out tremendously. When I was in rehab with him last year, he really helped me out with deliveries and mechanics.
That's
and
cool,
stuff.
Isn't it?
Oh, so cool. He's just a great guy too,
We've heard that from a couple of you guys about Merrill.
Yeah.
That he's really just he's just a leader on this team.
100%. Super solid dude.
So you come into this spring training, are you focused on anything? What are you working on?
I'm trying to work on getting more strikeouts wherever I am, whether it's the bullpen or starting rotation. I'm really looking to, really dial my stuff in, come up with good sequences that's going to fit me the best. Everybody's got their things that they're really good at. And I'm just, really trying to figure out, all right, what pitch of mine is the best and where do I need to go from that?
What pitch do you think is the best?
Probably my slider.
Slider.
I'd say. Yeah. And I learned that from Brendan Fott as well.
Is that right?
Yeah, sure did.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so I like to talk to these guys and try to figure out what works for them, and because everybody's so good at something,
Yeah.
Merrill's really good at dotting corners, sinker, cutter, all that stuff, and then B-Fat, he's got that unbelievable slider. So why would not pick their brain about it?
Man, I'm with you.
Smart. Yeah. Absolutely.
We're talking to Blake Walston. Blake, there was a quote from Josh Naylor, who just got in here this spring, and he was, talking about how locked in this team is even in spring.
Yeah.
Do you get that sense? There's expectations for this team. It seems from the outside that you guys are all kind of pulling in the same direction.
Absolutely. I've been here for 5 years now, so I feel like this team has got a big chance to really make something happen. The pitching staff is just unreal right now. We just watched Monty throw too, and he looked real solid too. So I'm excited for him.
Wow.
It's gonna be scary.
So you talked a little bit about the bullpen or starter. If you had a preference, I know you just hey, give me the ball.
Yeah.
I want to get out. But if you had a preference, which would you prefer?
Probably prefer a starter. Yeah.
Okay, why?
Just because you're on that schedule and you have that schedule. You pitch every 5 days and you know what your routine's going to be like. In the bullpen, it's kind of like, hey, you're getting in the game, and you're like, all right, boom, 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 throwing baseballs against the wall, you're ready. So I like that part of it, though, as well. So, as long as I'm in the big
You
leagues.
mean the bullpen, getting up and, hey, listen, you're going. You know?
You don't even have time to think. It's just, boom, you better click it on and let's go,
I always thought the same thing. It'd be so cool to have know exactly what you were going to do on this day. I used to play 10 years in the NFL. It doesn't look like that, but still, I used to play 10 years, and I used to love the routine of it.
Yeah.
Getting up on Monday. I knew exactly what I was going to do on Monday. I knew what I was going to do on Tuesday, on Wednesday. Exactly. Even to this day, Blake, I'm one of these guys, I like routine.
Yeah.
I like it. And that's why I always thought, man, it'd be kind of cool to be a starter knowing exactly what you were going to do, as opposed to, hey, get up. Yeah. We need you. 100%. That's got to be tough, man.
Yeah, 100%.
Blake, we appreciate this, man. We're pulling for you to have a good spring and a good season, all right?
Awesome. I appreciate you guys having me.
Absolutely. Right on, Blake.
Yes, sir.
God bless, buddy.
Thank you, guys.
That's Blake Walston joining us right there.
Diamondbacks left-handed pitcher Tommy Henry joins us here on set at Salt River Fields. Tommy, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Good to see you. It's like it's a every year thing. We have you come by. I really enjoyed the article that Nick Pecoro wrote over, and we'll start here in AZ Central with all the details of all the weddings of the Diamondbacks who got married in the offseason. You among them, congratulations.
Thank you.
How many weddings did you go to this offseason?
I think we had 3 or 4 that we went to. And I mean, weddings are a blast, especially when they're close friends, and getting to watch that and be a witness for that is just, it's a special time. We enjoyed it.
And I was told that you had the ability just to keep re-gifting things to the next people, right?
Yeah, basically.
Made things real easy,
Just
right?
pass it along the chain.
That's all you have
We're
to
just
do,
rotating
man.
around, yeah.
When you have that many in proximity to each other, was there any kind of like competition? Whose was the best? Was there a lot of talk going on? Do you poll the teammates on who had the best time where and all that?
Yeah, no. I guess maybe you could gauge it by who had the latest night. Like where did the party continue on the longest?
And where was that?
I honestly don't know.
Gets a little foggy. Yeah,
maybe I'm pleading the fifth on that one.
As you probably
Smart move.
should.
Smart
As
move.
you probably should.
Tommy Henry, our guest. How's spring going for you so far on the field?
It's been good. It's been really good. I always enjoy getting back into game action. The off season's great. You get to spend some time away from the game, and then you also kind of get to get in the lab and work on things that you need to improve on. And then once you hop back into these games, it kind of feels like you gotta knock the rust off a little bit. Like get back into the competitive mode, get some outs. Instead of just trying to execute or get better at stuff. And so I always enjoy going back to the basics of why we play the game and getting used to that again.
All right, so you didn't get the results with the big club last year that you wanted. You pitched very consistent in Reno in a league that can be very hard on pitchers. Yet as a young person, how do you calibrate your success there to success here? How do you make it work here consistently?
Yeah, I think honestly, the best way in my mind that it works is just to continue to rack up success wherever it is. Let that kind of be your guiding factor, your motivation, is just go out there on the field and have success. And I think once you kind of get into the habit of that and get used to that and get your mindset in the way that like, okay, every time I step on the field, I can dominate no matter where I'm at. You can do it at any level. And they're not going to pull you up onto the big league squad if they don't believe that you can do that. And so there's no reason that you should doubt that yourself. So success anywhere, I think I'll take it and I'll stack it and just prepare myself to do it at any level.
Tommy Henry of the Diamondbacks, our guest here on Arizona Sports, and Dan mentioned it. Being in Reno, it can be a very unforgiving place for pitchers. And we've talked to Mike Hazen in the past too about when a pitcher goes down and what they're trying to accomplish. And he always warns, hey, don't look at the numbers. But how hard is that? Not your numbers were great, 10-1, 4.25 ERA, and that league is great. But what does that do for your confidence level moving forward into this spring and what you have planned out for yourself this year?
Yeah, I got really good advice one time from an old pitching coach about kind of the PCL in general. That was like, look, screw the ERA, like screw the numbers like that. And as hard as it is, let your mission be to go out there and beat the other starter that day. Whether, you have to leave the game and it's 7-6 or, it's 1-0. Just go out and compete. And I think when you do that, you get your mind kind of off of that, all that stuff, all that noise, all the stuff that you can't control. And you just embrace the competitive factor, which I think is a strength of mine. And then, most of the guys that play this game, that's why they've gotten to this level. So embracing the competitive aspect, kind of removing all the other noise from it, and diving full head, into that.
Yeah, your strikeout numbers were really good in Reno. In fact, I was at Nace's game when you started late last year there. Making bats miss on the major league level, it's another story. A lot of young pitchers struggle with that. How do you trust your stuff? Is it a process to learn to trust your stuff at this level?
Totally. And I think, there's other aspects, too, that you kind of have to develop in order to get the strikeouts or the swing and miss here at the big league level, just because the hitters are, they're another level advanced. And so, you really have to be particular, especially, from my standpoint, like getting into good counts that are in your favor. That allows you to kind of expand the zone. That allows you to kind of put the hitter on his heels. It's tough if you're pitching in 2-0, 2-1 counts, trying to scratch and claw your way back into it. It's easier to get swing and miss if you can get, strike one, as simple as that sounds. Even if the stuff doesn't change, the count kind of changes how the at-bat goes and how it dictates. So getting into counts that are in your advantage, I think, creates situations in which you can kind of chase that swing and miss and, put the hitter on their heels more often.
That makes sense.
There's a lot of talk about this rotation at this point of the spring with all the numbers that you have, and obviously there's a lot of continuity, a lot of guys that have been here in this organization for a while, but then the D-backs go out and add one of the best in the business in Corbin Burns. I'd like to get your perspective, Tommy, on what he's brought to this team early on, how he's fit into this group.
Yeah, I think he's been a great fit. I always appreciate when, older guys or vets or guys that have just had success at the big league level for a long time are willing to come in, shed some light. I always appreciate watching them work, watching them go through their process, and each guy's unique. And I think that if you're willing to ask the questions or if you're willing to just kind of watch them, you can learn a lot. And Corbin's been a great fit in the locker room. Really good guy. He just had a taco truck out here the other day, just taking care of us, doing fun things that we can all kind of bond over and enjoy some good food. But he's been a huge fit in the locker room already, and, I'm excited to see that kind of continue for the rest of the year.
All right, so I know you were adding a sinker to your arsenal last year. Is that going to be featured more prominently? What are you bringing to the table this year that's different, if anything?
Yeah, the sinker, two-seam, whatever you want to call it, will be in play. I kind of use that mainly to lefties.
Right.
Kind of create some space inside there. I don't know. You guys it might be a few weeks before you see it in the game again. Cutter's kind of a work in progress. But, in having better success with a harder slider. Last year the slider was a little bit slower than it is this year, and I think the harder slider helps play to both sides a little bit more. It looks like a fastball for a longer time, which I think that deception is something I need to capitalize on. I don't throw the ball a million miles an hour, so I kind of have to make everything look like a heater. So I play off that doubt in the hitter's mind. So having a harder slider, I think, will help me have more success. So I'm hoping to see that and use that a little bit more on the field.
Early impressions of the ABS system. How has it affected you, and what's kind of the talk in the clubhouse about it?
Honestly, surprisingly, maybe I just haven't been involved in the conversations, but I haven't heard a ton of chatter. I feel like the pitch clock kind of brought more chatter and, sort of friction as it came. The ABS, I feel like I haven't heard as many conversations about. My experience, I've had it, I've used it last year in Reno, and, they were kind of going through a weird, Tuesday through Thursday was full ABS, and then, the weekends were the challenge system, was a little bit messy, but, from my perspective, if we're going to go to the ABS, or if that becomes part of the game, I think the challenge system is a good sort of happy medium because it still, keeps the human aspect of the umpire in the game, but it allows for, a ball strike call in the ninth inning to not dictate the outcome of the game. Because you either, if you blew all your challenges, that's your fault and you weren't able to do it, or, you can use your challenge and make it, the right call.
Gotcha.
All right, Tommy, last question for you. Vinny mentioned how many quality starting pitchers are here in camp and are going to be on this team. So what does a young player like you do when you try to frame your goals and what you want to accomplish? Is it just personal growth and be a good teammate and do whatever they ask? How do you frame a year when there's not a lot of spots open?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think two things for me. One, I'm not the type of person where I'm going to sit here and try and, write out the depth chart in my head. That's not really for me to do. The only thing I can do is go compete on the field and put the best product of myself out there for this team. And the way I do that is just go fully embrace myself and competing against the hitter. I think if I'm in that mindset, that's a strength of mine, and that's going to put me in the best position to help this team. And then two, I think off the field for me, a goal is to just invest in deeper relationships in teammates. I think if I can, really bond with guys like that and help guys, I think that puts us all in the best position to, win games, to help each other. And I think it, frees you up a little bit to do better things on the field. You have more trust in the guys around you. They trust you more. There's just a deeper relationship that I think creates a winning culture. And I think that's a huge thing for me.
Very cool. Tommy, thanks for stopping by. Good to talk to you again. Bro. Best of luck this spring and all season long.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Tommy Henry, Diamondbacks left-hander, our guest here on Bickley and Marotta Mornings.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.